We are live. Welcome back to another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. My name is Nicholas Earle, running solo today. My brother is not feeling 100%, so it's just going to be me running the show today. And we get 9 NBA games, so you guys get to see me talk for, 25 minutes on the NBA here. We have a 9-game slate for the NBA. Only 2 games in the NHL for today, but 2 interesting games. 2 games I'm definitely excited to getting into. But before we get into today's video, before we get into today's slate, we're going to take a look back at what happened yesterday. What went right, what went wrong, and it wasn't a good day. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I finished down 9.91 units. I finished 14, 22, and 1. In college basketball, we went 8-13. It wasn't a good day in college basketball. Started off rough. We started off 1-4, and then we finished 8-13. So struggle there. I'm not going to go over every single game. If you guys want to see what we had yesterday in college basketball, it's over on the site under our plays. In the NHL, the overs finally came back down to earth. Went 6-8-1 yesterday. Could have been worse. I ended the night off pretty well with a couple nice cashes. I did cash the Pittsburgh Penguins puck line and the over 6 in that game against Philadelphia. Florida over, but I didn't cash the Florida money line. That was frustrating. They tied it with, I think, like less than 20 seconds left in the game just to lose it in a shootout. Kind of frustrating there. It is what it is. Buffalo Sabres over money line and over. Both those were losers. Buffalo Sabres are dead to me. We lost that it was a 3-2 game. Minnesota Boston over 5.5 was a loser. We couldn't get an empty net goal. Hartman hit a post at the end of the shooting at an empty net. So no dice there. Over 5.5 in Columbus and New Jersey. Beat a great line movement. That moved all the way up to 6 just for the game to finish 2-1. I'll be right back on that over tomorrow. Those two play again tomorrow, I believe, in Columbus this time. Flames and the over. Both those were losers as well. Tampa Bay came out and they played really well. The game finished 4-1. I was hoping for a late goal at the end to make it at least a push on the over. No dice there. It is what it is. The Avalanche over, we hit over 6. The Avalanche put up 7 by themselves. I did not cash the team total over for the Jets, though. They only put up 1 goal. Note to self, just bet Colorado over and Colorado team total over until further notice. This team is just spotting how many goals they want to score, and they're going to score that many goals. This is a deadly, deadly Avalanche team. I cashed on the Yotes. The Yotes plus 140. Took a shot at the underdog there, saying that Chicago should be minus 160 to absolutely nobody. I was spot on there. At least one of those things went right for me yesterday. Got a push with Vegas and the Rangers over. I wish I hopped on Vegas. I was saying yesterday Vegas was my lean, Vegas in regulation. I just couldn't get around to betting it. And unfortunately, and then about an hour before the game or something like that, it was announced Alexander Georgiev, and that line went from minus 145, minus 150, all the way up to minus 170, minus 180. I almost hopped at the minus 170, saying, screw it. I think that this line is deserved to move that much with Georgiev in. And I never got around to it, and unfortunately, that was just a winner I kept off my book. But and then my final game was the LA Nashville over. Got an empty net from the Preds at the end of the game to make it 4-2. And this Predators team is not one I'm looking to jump in front of. I believe they're now 10-1-1 in their last 12 games. This is a Preds team that's looked really good as of late. So very well done for the Nashville Predators there. They are a playoff contender, I think. And then my only play in the NBA was a loser before the game even started. I got the Warriors at minus 140, and that dropped all the way to minus 105, even money. And then obviously no Curry, no Draymond Green definitely did not help that. So lost in the only NBA game I was on yesterday. So overall, college basketball 8-13, down 6.35 units. NBA 0-1, down 1.40 units. And the NHL 6-8-1, down 3.16 units overall, 14-22-1, down 9.91 units. And throughout the year 2022, I'm 97, 104, down 7.55 units. Looking for a bounce back a little bit today. I'm on 3 different spots in the NBA. I'm on both the NHL games, so I'm hoping, and then we got, I think, 9 college basketball games we're on as well. So I'm hoping for a little bit of a bounce back here for today. But we'll take a look at the chat, and then we'll get into some NBA, and then we'll get there. What's up, Francisco? What's up, man? Penguins came through. I took their team total. I was looking at their team total over as well. I just took their puck line and they're over. So yeah. AJ's, yo. Sabres have COVID. Yeah, I'm just tired of the Sabres. What's good, Dre Richardson? I saw you on Almost Adulting last night. Great job there. Very impressed. What up? What's good, Nathan? Saying hello to Dre. It's okay yesterday. It's a new day. Yeah. As long as we don't chase. Yeah, you can't chase. And I've already got I got a few plays in the NHL for tomorrow already for a bigger slate than the 2 games as well. What's up, Earle Rose? Already hit the like. Appreciate it. Sup, AJ's. Says Dre. McKinnon 4 points last night. Yeah. And as long as that top line scores, I think they'll be fine. They just need to go out and get it. Exactly. They just need to go out and get a better goalie. I don't think Darcy Kemper can take them to a Stanley Cup because they're going to be eventually one of those teams that I think could get outed in the second round when all things are said and done by a team like Vegas or something like that, where they have more depth, they have better defense, and they have better goaltending. Like a team like that. Now, if you can go out and get someone like I don't know, Marc-Andre Fleury for the Capital or for the Avs, even if the Islanders are not in it, getting someone like Semyon Varlamov, there's some names out there that I think could be available for trades during the trade deadline and stuff like that. That may be useful for some teams. So it'd be interesting to see if the Avs go out and get a goaltender. I would recommend they do because Darcy Kemper and Pavel Francouz is not the answer if you guys want to go win a Stanley Cup. Even as great as that top line is with Rantanen, McKinnon, and Landeskog, how great that defense is with Cale Makar leading the show. I think that this is you need a goaltender though. Dre Richardson, 6 points using 76ers, Nuggets, and Timberwolves today. Okay. I am against 2 of those plays on the actual spread. One my buzzer beater and last Woody standing took Memphis team total over. Nice. And Long Beach State. Nice. There you go. Yeah, I cashed my last Woody standing pretty early yesterday when that game was postponed between the Ducks and the Red Wings. I had the Ducks money line. Canes in regulation at -120. We will get into that, but that is definitely a play I am on. Hot take, the Stars will beat the Pens tomorrow, says Nathan, with the Stars logo as his thing. They very well could. I'm not going to say they can't, but the Pens are not a team I'm looking to jump in front of. But we'll get into that game tomorrow. But we're going to hop into some NBA now. We're going to try to get this NBA slate done and out of the way. Because I'll be completely honest, I am not an NBA guru. And you guys should know that by now. I'm more of a hockey guy. I'm going to do my best here to break down these games, give out what I like. I don't have any of Tim's plays. He'll probably post that on a community post later. So it's just me. It's just my plays. And let's get it started. San Antonio Spurs are at the Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers are 7-point home favorites. Total around 216.5 in this game. We have the San Antonio Spurs coming into this one 15-22. They're 21-16 against the spread. There's 19-16 and 2 over under. They're 8-12 away from home. Sixers are 21-16 this year. They're 17-19-1 against the spread. They're 15-20 and 2 over under. They're 7-8 at home. They're a much better road team. They're 14-8 on the road, 7-8 at home. I remember a few years ago, it felt like the 76ers couldn't get a win away from home. And now they're a better overall road team than they are home team. We have San Antonio coming into this game. They covered in their last game. They won straight up as 7.5-point underdogs against the Boston Celtics, 99-97. Before that, they didn't cover in 3 straight games in a 129-104 loss against the Raptors, a 117-116 loss as 6.5-point favorites against the Detroit Pistons, and a 118-105 loss against the Memphis Grizzlies as 5.5-point underdogs. I'm going to go get up RotoWire for injuries. I use this for my for what do you call it for NHL. Let's see. We have Zach Collins, Collins is out. McDermott's out. Tre'Davious White. I believe that's Tre'Davious White. Yeah, Thaddeus Young. My bad. Wow. Oh, I was trying to read the two names right, but then Derek White. On the other side, Maxey, Milton are the only names that really have not been in, I think. Once again, I'm not an NBA guru. I'm just listing off the injuries here for any people wanting to know who's going to be playing. I'm on the Spurs at this point. I took them +7 in this game. I had this game handicapped around 4.5, 5. So I see a few points of value here with the road underdog in this spot. So I'm going with the Spurs here to cover at least the 7. I think the 76ers win this game straight up. That's why I didn't go money line as well. But I think that this is a close enough game to keep it within 7 points for the Spurs. I just followed Jay. Fair enough. So appreciate it. I'm middling as of late. It's all good. Can't be hot forever, can't be cold forever. So that's the thing with sports betting. It's all waves. It's all waves. But moving on to the next game here, Milwaukee Bucks are at the Brooklyn Nets in this one here. Brooklyn are 4.5-point home favorites, total of 230.5. Obviously, Kyrie Irving will not be playing in this game because it's in Brooklyn, and they'll also be without Joe Harris. On the other side, some COVID problems here with the Milwaukee Bucks. No Grayson Allen, Connaughton, DiVincenzo, Hill, Drew Holiday, and Brook Lopez are all going to be missing in this game. Giannis is a game-time decision. This is a game I stayed off of personally. I originally had this game handicapped around 2.5, so I'd be leaning towards the road dog in this game. Maybe looking there if Giannis does play. It's a dog or pass type of spot for me, though. I don't want to lay this many points with the Brooklyn Nets, especially with a team like Milwaukee, which will still have potentially Giannis and Middleton, 2 strong players in there as well. So this is a pass. It's a lean towards the Bucks, but it's a pass for me. Next matchup here, we have the Toronto Raptors at the Utah Jazz. The Raptors are 11.5-point home favorites against the Jazz, total of 221. I looked at this game, and I thought something was wrong. I thought that they had the wrong team favored by this many, but then I go look into it. May not play. Game time decisions are Clarkson, Gay, O'Neal, and Hassan Whiteside out for tonight. Bogdanovich, Conley, Gobert, Ingles, and Mitchell. I stayed the hell away from this game. There's no way I'm laying 11 points with the Raptors. There's no way I'm taking the Jazz with this many players out, with 4 or 5 of their projected starting lineups being a game-time decision tonight. There's no way I was touching the Utah Jazz in this spot as well. My notes, as soon as I looked at this and I looked at the injuries, I said, absolute pass. I didn't even handicap and give myself a line for it because I didn't know where to start. So this is a pass for me, a pretty simple pass, Toronto and Utah for that game. Knicks game was good. They were down 24 points. You bet live, Ben? Nice. I was leaning Knicks yesterday. I know Tim had the Celtics. Tim had the Celtics as well, which he was definitely pissed about. But yeah, nice live bet though. COVID has hit San Antonio. No Derek White. No Keldon Johnson. And no Devin. Okay. I still think that it'll be kept within 7. I wouldn't be laying 7 points to Philly. But we'll move on here. The Dallas Mavericks are at the Houston Rockets in this one here. The Mavericks are 2.5-point road favorites in this game. Total of 215.5. We have let's get this up. Have the Dallas Mavericks coming in 20-18. They're 19-19 against the spread. They're 12-25-1 over under. They're 10-10 on the road this year. Houston 11-28. They're 17-21-1. They're 22-17 against the spread. They're 7-10 over under. Looking at the injury report for this one here. Luka Doncic, it's a game time decision. Willie Cauley-Stein and Kristaps Porzingis are out. For Houston, they seem pretty healthy. John Wall is obviously still out, and that's just about it for big name players. So for this game, was another pass for me. I had this game handicapped around Dallas -2.5. It is down to minus around 2.5. So I didn't see any value in jumping on this line. So this was a stay away. This is a pass for me for this matchup. Moving on. Minnesota Timberwolves are at the Oklahoma City Thunder in this next game. The Timberwolves are 6-point road favorites, a total of 216 in this game. Minnesota 18-20 heading into this one, 19-18-1 against the spread, 19-19 over under. They're 7-10 on the road. Oklahoma City are 13-24, but they're 24-13 against the spread. They're 14-23 over under and 8-11 at home this year. Minnesota comes into this game covering in 2 of their last 3, but they did lose straight up against this OKC team. No, my bad. They didn't cover, my bad. 9-point spread. They won 98-90 at home in their last game. Before that, they covered in a 122-104 straight up win against the Clippers as 3.5-point underdogs, and they covered as 7-point underdogs in a 108-103 loss against the Lakers. On the other side, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder who cover spreads, plain and simple. They've covered 3 in a row. They were 9-point underdogs. They lost 98-90 against the T-Wolves. They were 10-point underdogs. They lost 95-86 against the Mavericks. They were 2.5-point underdogs. They went straight up against the Knicks. They've covered in 8 of their last 10 games. This is also a team that goes under a lot. Looking at the injury reports for this game, Minnesota will be without Bolmaro and Wright. I'm just reading these off of RotoWire. And OKC will be without Favors and Roby. I like the Oklahoma City Thunder in this game. I took him at +6. I think that they keep this game semi-close. I had this game handicapped around Minnesota -3. So I wouldn't talk anyone off of sprinkling the money line here with the Oklahoma City Thunder as well. I think that they are a live underdog and can potentially win this game straight up today. So I'm going to roll with the Thunder plus the 6 at home. A nice little home doggy against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Doncic is a game time decision, but doubtful. Yep. All right. Yeah, I'm not touching that game either. So it is what it is. 4 more games in the NBA, then we can move on to the NHL and then wrap it up. This will be a little bit shorter of a slate because there's only one of me, so there's less talking. All right. Moving on. Washington Wizards at the Chicago Bulls here. Bulls are 6-point home favorites, a total of 225.5. The Wizards are 19-19. They're 18-19-1 against the spread. They're 19-18-1 over under. And they're 9-12 on the road. The Chicago Bulls are 25-10 this year. I believe they're number 1 in the Eastern Conference, if I'm not mistaken. They're 21-14 against the spread. 17-18 over under. 13-4 at home in this game. And looking at this matchup here, we have Washington coming in. They did not cover in their last game. They lost straight up 114-111 as 7-point favorites against the Houston Rockets. Previous to that, they had covered in 4 straight and 6 of their last 7. On the other side, we have the Chicago Bulls who are coming in. They haven't covered in 3 straight games. They didn't cover as 13.5-point favorites against the Magic. They didn't cover as 2-point favorites against the Wizards in a 120 to 119 win. And they did not cover as 3-point favorites against the Indiana Pacers as 3-point favorites, 108 to 106. Previous to that, they covered in 4 straight games. But the last 3 games, they're winning but not covering. For me, I had this game handicapped at Chicago -7. So it'd be a lean towards the Bulls in this one here. For me, looking at the injury report, looks like Montrezl Harrell is going to be a game time decision for the Wizards. We have Davis Bertans is likely out, so he's doubtful for today's game. And then still no Bryant, Hachimura, and Waters for Washington on the other side. The Bulls will be without Williams, Green, Cook, and Caruso. It'd be a lean towards the Bulls in this spot here. If I could have gotten a 5 or a 4.5 with Chicago, I'd probably hop on them. But for me right now, that game is another pass. I think I have one more NBA play for the rest of the night, and that's on the last game of the slate. Maybe the over in the OKC game. I'm kind of leaning the other way. OKC is a really good under team, and they don't score that many points. So I don't know about the over in that game. I would have to do. I didn't look at any totals. I'll put that out there now. I didn't look at what any of them have done totals wise recently. So I was only looking at sides for the NBA today because that's generally all I really look for. I'm not really a totals person in the NBA. Especially the way it's going right now, because all the numbers will probably be funky with all the players that's been out lately. So it is what it is. Moving on, 3 games remaining in this one. Sacramento Kings are at the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are around 8-point home favorites in this game. Total of 225.5. Sacramento 16-24. They're 17-23 against the spread this year. 19-20-1 over under. 6-11 away from home. Denver 18-18. They're 15-21 against the spread. They're 18-18 over under. 8-7 at home this year. Sacramento comes into this game not covering in back-to-back games. They lost as 2-point favorites, 108 to 102 against the Hawks. They didn't cover as 6.5-point favorites against the Lakers in a 122 to 114 loss previous to that. The Denver Nuggets coming in also not covering in 2 straight games. They lost to Utah 115 to 109. And they lost to Dallas 103 to 89. Didn't cover either of those games. The last time they covered was on New Year's Day as 8-point favorites. They beat the Rockets 124 to 111. And for this game, I had this game handicapped at Denver -7, so it'd be a slight lean towards the road underdog in this spot here at the +8. I just don't particularly trust Denver right now. I'm not getting involved in this game because I don't trust the Sacramento Kings either. And I don't see enough value on either side to go ahead and make a bet in this game. So this one was another stay off. Moving on here, the Cleveland Cavaliers are at the Portland Trailblazers in this one here. Cavaliers are 6.5-point road favorites in this game. Total of around 216. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers coming in as the best team against the spread this year. They're 21-17 overall. They're 25-12-1 against the spread. 15-23 over under. 10-8 on the road. Portland 14-23. 13-23-1 against the spread. 18-18-1 over under. 12-10 at home this year. But with that being said, Cleveland does come in. They are 0-4-1 in their last 5 games against the spread. They didn't cover in a 110 to 106 loss against Memphis. They pushed against the Indiana Pacers at the as a 4-point favorite, 108-104 win. They didn't cover and they lost straight up, 121 to 118 against the Hawks as 2-point favorites. They did not cover as 4-point underdogs against the Wizards, and they did not cover as 4.5-point favorites and lost that game straight up against the Pelicans. On the other side, though, we do have another team that's been struggling against the spread. They're 1-5 on their last 6 games, the Portland Trailblazers. They lost their last game 115 to 109 against the Miami Heat as 2.5-point underdogs. Not cover. We did have the Heat in that game. And previous to that, they did cover against the Atlanta Hawks as 4-point underdogs. They won 136 to 131 straight up. Previous to that, they didn't cover in 4 in a row. I stayed off this game. I had this game handicapped around 5. So as crazy as this sounds, I'd be leaning towards the home underdog in this spot. But no CJ McCollum, no Damian Lillard definitely affected that. If one of them were in, I'd probably be on the Trailblazers in this spot here. But this is another stay off spot. Looking at the injuries in this game, we have I accidentally clicked something there. There we go. We have C.D. Osman and Rajon Rondo expected to play. Okoro is out for today's game against for Cleveland. No Lillard, no Nance, and no McCollum for the Trailblazers. So this was a stay off spot for me. I didn't see enough value to get to this game. Trey Richardson saying over. Okay. I teased the total to 210. Hope it gets there. Hope it goes to OT. There you go. Fair enough. But we will move on to our last game here of the night. And this is actually has my last play in it, obviously. We have the LA Lakers hosting the Atlanta Hawks in this one here. The Lakers are 3.5-point home favorites, a total of 228, 228.5. We have the Atlanta Hawks coming in 17-20, 15-22 against the spread. They're 19-18 over under. They're 9-11 away from home. We have on the other side, the Lakers are 20-19 this year. They're 16-23 against the spread. They're 20-18-1 over under, and they're 13-10 at home this year. We have Atlanta coming in covering in 2 of their last 3 games. They beat the Sacramento Kings 108-102, covering as 2-point underdogs. We had them that game. They lost straight up as 4-point favorites against the Portland Trailblazers, and they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 121-118. On the other side, we have the Lakers actually coming in and covering spreads as of late. They've covered in 4 of their last 5. They covered as 6.5-point favorites against the Kings. Previous to that, they didn't cover as 7-point favorites against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but covered in 3 straight against the Trailblazers, Memphis Grizzlies, and Houston Rockets. And in this spot here, I had this game handicapped at Lakers minus 1.5. I think this line's a bit too wide. Plain and simple. I took the Hawks plus 3.5, and I sprinkled the money line at plus 135. The Hawks are a live underdog in this game. I think they can come in and win this one straight up. For the Hawks, you got Dieng, Hunter, and Oliver out, and their game time decisions are Trae Young, John Collins, Bogdanovich, Reddish, and Johnson. I think most of them, if not all of them, will be playing tonight. On the other side, LeBron James always has that Q tag next to him. He's fine. He's going to play. But no Kendrick Nunn and no Anthony Davis, of course, for the Los Angeles Lakers in this one here. So I like the dog to finish out this NBA slate. I'm going to take the Atlanta Hawks plus the 3.5 and plus the 135 on the money line to get the job done here against the Lakers. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Journal. Only if Trae plays. Yes. I don't mind that at all. I bet it now. I expect Trae Young to play, and I think if Trae Young gets announced in, this is going to go down to like a 2, a 1.5, or something like that. So I would definitely, if you like the Hawks and you expect Trae Young to play, I'd bet him now before they announce him in, and if they announce him out, then that's just the risk I'm willing to take. But we will be moving on here to the NHL. I'm going to roll the bumper first, and then we will get into the 2-game slate for hockey today.
Hey guys, EarleSportsBets.com has finally launched, and to show our appreciation for you, click on the link below or go to EarleSportsBets.com/promo to get the 7-day package for only $49. That's $120 in savings. Thanks, guys.
All right. So we got 2 more games to break down for today. We got the NHL. Start off with a fun little matchup here. Calgary Flames are heading into Raleigh to take on the Carolina Hurricanes in this one. Hurricanes are on minus 175 in this game. We have Calgary coming in 17, 19, and 6. They're 16 and 16 against the spread. They're 16 and 16 over under. They're 13, 6 and 2 on the road. We have the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 23, 7 and 1. They're 18 and 13 against the spread. 11 and 17 over under. 10 and 3 at home. Jacob Markstrom, the expected goalie for Calgary after Daniel Vladar was in net for Calgary last night. Frederik Andersen expected in net here for the Carolina Hurricanes. He's 17 and 5 this year, a 191 goals allowed average, a 929 save percentage, and a shutout. And I do have a Vezina Trophy ticket on Jacob Markstrom. He's looked like a really good goalie. He has definitely regressed a little bit since the return from the COVID break. Calgary on their fifth game of a road trip. I believe this is the last game of their road trip here. They are 2-2. They started off well with a 6-4 win over the Kraken, a 5-1 win over the Blackhawks, but since they lost 6-2 they lost to both Florida teams, 6-2 against the Panthers, 4-1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. On the other side, Carolina, they've played 2 games since the return from the break. They won 4-0 against the Montreal Canadiens, and they won 7-4 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. After starting that game down 4-0, they scored twice in the second period and 5 times in the third period to take a 7-4 lead. And not only were they down 4-0 and they won the game, they went from down 4-0 to covering a super puck line at -2.5. This Carolina team is relentless, very, very good team. And there's a reason why they are one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup. And I think that this is a game they take care of. This is the last game of a road trip, I believe, for Calgary. And this is a game that Carolina should win. They're the well-rested team. They haven't played in 6 days. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt them, but this is a team that's number 7 in the NHL in goals per game. They score 3.42. They have the number 9 ranked power play at 23.7%. They have the number 1 goals allowed average at 2.13 a game. They don't give up many shots, 26.8 shots on goal allowed per game, which is number 1 in the NHL. 89.5% penalty kill, which is second in the NHL. This is a Carolina Hurricanes team that is very, very good defensively, and I think that's going to help them make a decent run in the playoffs eventually this season, trying to run through that Metro division. And I think they're definitely live to win that division. Them and the Washington Capitals, another team we're going to get into in the next game. I think that's going to be a fun little race. And then you throw in the Pittsburgh Penguins in there, along with the potential Rangers. I mean, this looks like a good little race down the end of the season here in that Metro division. It's always going to be super competitive. I like Carolina. I took them in regulation at -120. I expect them to take care of business in this game. I like the Hurricanes to win this game in 60. Aho, anytime goal. I don't mind that. Under 6. And with all the overs going on right now, this is an under I don't mind. And if you want to play the under, I think you take the first period under at 1.5. Alan Trimble says, Carolina regulation, yes. Nino Rider, anytime goal. I don't hate that. We'll potentially look at Tara Vinen and Matthew Tkachuk shot props when they are released. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, good looks. Tara Vinen, I mean, I can't argue with Tara Vinen there. And maybe if you're looking at props there, you have Tara Vinen, Nino Rider, and Aho all on the top line. You can sprinkle point props on all 3 of them. And if they get a full line goal, there you go. If you're looking at props that way. This Carolina Hurricanes team does look very deadly this year. So I think that's a nice look. But we'll move on to our final game of the night. This line has moved. A lot of stuff to go over for this one. Oh, by the way, injuries. Injuries in the Carolina game before we move on to Washington and St. Louis. Basically nothing really for Calgary and the Islanders and the Hurricanes. No Braden Smith and no Jake Gardner. That's all it is for that Carolina and Calgary game for injuries. Moving on here, and it looks like this this Washington team is getting healthier too. We are looking at the Washington Capitals and the St. Louis Blues in this next game here. The Blues are this is around a pick of -105, -105. Total of 6.5. This has gone up from 5.5. And the Capitals are 26-8 this year. They're 20-14 against the spread. They're 18-14 over under. They're 10-3-3 away from home. On the other side, we have the St. Louis Blues, who are 19-10-5, 19-15 against the spread, 16-16 over under, 12-3-2 at home this year. Ilya Samsonov and Jordan Binnington are projected goalies for today's game. We have Washington coming in, winning 2 of their last 3 games since returning from the COVID break. They lost 4-2 against the Devils in overtime in their last one, but previous to that, 3-1 win over the Red Wings and a 5-3 win over the Red Hot Predators. On the other side, we have the St. Louis Blues, who have come in winning 2 of their last 3 games since coming back from the COVID break. They've gone over in 2 of 3 as well. They won 4-2 against the Edmonton Oilers. That was the only game that went under because that was a 6.5. Today's a 6.5 as well now. They also won 6-4 in the Winter Classic against the Minnesota Wild, and 5-3 they lost against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They were up 3-1 in that game, and the Pittsburgh Penguins came roaring back to win that game 5-3. And St. Louis couldn't even cover the puck line +1.5. And looking at this spot here, I don't really have too much of a read on the side in this game. I think this is a pretty close game, and I really don't have a read for the side. Looking at the injuries here, this Washington team is getting healthy. They are only without Mantha now. I'm trying to think who got returned to the lineup here that they haven't had. Hathaway's returned, and there was one other name that has returned, but I just can't think of it right now. But this is beginning to be a healthier Washington squad, and this team is going to be deadly down the stretch. I think that the Capitals, especially being led by my MVP pick for this year in Alexander Ovechkin. I personally got a ticket for Alexander Ovechkin to win the MVP at +700. If you want to bet him now, he's at +350. He has the second best odds, only behind Connor McDavid at +200. And I think this Capitals team is a force to be reckoned with potentially here. I got him at 16-1 to win or 18-1 to win the Cup. They're 16-1 now. I think this is a good Washington team that's going to threaten for something this year. So I would lean Washington if I had to get to a side in this game, because on the blue side they're going to be without one of their best players, in Vladimir Tarasenko. So it would be a lean towards Washington, a team that's getting healthier, a team that's playing good hockey. But I don't want to step in front of the Blues at all either right now. I did with the Penguins, but this is a good Blues team as well that I'm not particularly looking to jump in front of. I'm on the over 5.5 in this game. I got it yesterday at 5.5 at -121. At 6.5, I feel like you can't get to it at 6.5 anymore, unfortunately. But I do like the over 5.5. If you can get it at a 6, I'd get it at a 6. But I don't mind the over in this game as well. Let's get up to here. Kyrou. Kyrou's been hot as of late. I wouldn't talk you off of Jordan Kyrou in this spot at all. Kyrou, definitely betting on him to score. I don't bet player props often, but Ovechkin's probably one I would look at for today. Yes. Lean over. Yeah, I got the over 5.5 at 6.5. I'd be careful. Think Ovi scores. I mean, it's a game that he's playing in. I think he can score in it. We all know he's chasing that record. And I believe he's number 2 in the NHL in goals scored per game, or goals scored this year. He's number 3. That's points. He's number 3 in points. He's number 2 in goals. He has 24 this year. The only person who's behind is Leon Draisaitl. And and Connor McDavid's a little bit lower down there than I thought. I'm looking at the NHL.com stats right now. Troy Terry, Chris Kreider, and Alex DeBrincat at 21. Austin Matthews at 20. All of them above Connor McDavid. So McDavid's getting points this year. He leads the league in points, but he's a little bit lower down there in goals. I might look at Ovi's shot props before. Yeah, I mean you know that they're going to give Ovi the puck to shoot the puck. That's just something we know heading into the season. Draw. I can see a draw potentially. What is that at? We can look at three-way line. Draw plus 340. I wouldn't talk anyone off of that. I can see this being 3-3 at the end of 60 minutes. So definitely an interesting look there as well. But that is the entire slate here for both the NHL and the NBA. We made it through everything here. But before we get into the recap here, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we go live here at ESB, which is every single morning, 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But looking at my recap here, I'm on the Spurs plus the 7, the Thunder plus the 6, the Hawks plus 3.5 and a half unit on the money line here. I'm on Carolina regulation at minus 120, and I'm on the over 5.5 for the Blues and the Capitals. Cheers, folks. Have a good day, Alan Trimble, and good luck. Yep. But that's going to just about wrap it up for the show. I want to thank you guys, as always, for watching. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we go live here at ESB, which is every single morning, 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Earle Sports Bet Show. But my name is Nicholas Earle. I want to thank you guys, as always, for watching, and